Is it normal for what used to be your sweet and adorable child to have grown into an annoying and obnoxious teenager? Well, we're going to talk about that today on Tips on Teens. My name is Kent Toussaint. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I specialize in helping kids, teens, and families live happier lives. I lead two organizations, Teen Therapy Center and the nonprofit 501c3 organization, Child and Teen Counseling, both here in Woodland Hills, California. Every Wednesday at noon, I jump on to Facebook Live to answer your parenting questions. Let's answer today's. I have three sons. One is a teenager, and the others are in grade school. Our teen is 14, and he's just not nice like he used to be. Everything is an argument. He criticizes everyone, especially his little brothers, but me and his dad too. I hear him with his friends when we pick him up from football, and I hate the way he talks with them. The only way for him to talk to others is through finding what they do wrong or insulting them. He just laughs or ignores it when I try to talk with him about it. I love my son, but I don't like who he is sometimes. He's not always horrible. I mean, sometimes he's sweet and playful, but it seems random. How normal is this? It's not abnormal. Does it apply to everyone? No, it doesn't. But it's common. And we're going to go into some details of why that is. Now, we're going to talk in very broad brush strokes here about boys. There are exceptions all over the place, but we're going to just talk in generalizations here. And some of these can apply to girls too. Boys in general, as they grow into adolescence, have a harder time exploring and expressing their more vulnerable feelings than girls do. Again, there are exceptions all over the place. I'm just talking again in very broad generalizations. So what can happen is boys will develop this tough exterior and interact with people through kind of combat or through, what's the word I'm looking for? Just instigation and antagonizing, because it covers up any kind of vulnerable feelings. So that's why when you see your son and you pick him up in football and they're hazing each other and they're roasting each other, they're having a great time. This is kind of what they do, because they don't really have the emotional capacity at present to say, hey, you're my good friend and I really care about you. They can't do that. They don't have that emotional capacity. Girls may have that capacity, again, generalizing here, but boys often don't. So what they do is they instigate, they antagonize, they insult, because that's the way of sharing connection and vulnerability. If you're a mom or if you're a dad and you just never went through this, it's really hard to understand because it's really counterintuitive and it doesn't make sense. But there are some people watching this, and especially some dads, who go, oh yeah, I remember doing that. Or maybe you still do it. Maybe when you get together with your friends, you still kind of roast each other and have a good time, and everyone's having a good time and no one's insulted. Again, everyone has a different approach. So the problem, sounds like, is he's roasting everyone. And it could be, how much of it is it, that's how he's hardwired, how much of it is the environment he's in. It depends. And you may say, but I didn't raise him in this kind of environment. But at school, that environment is there. Sports, that environment may be there. Online, that environment is definitely there. There's a really horrible, toxic online environment in the gaming community. And it's just, you're not going to change that. And you can't say, we'll only go to the nice places to play. There are no nice places online. There's always, banter and roasting, and there's no line to go too low. The lower you go, the more street cred you have. So what do you do about this? First, when he antagonizes his brothers and bullies his brothers, instead of going to the 14-year-old, first address the feelings of the younger boys. Make sure they're feeling heard. Make sure they're feeling supported. Make sure that you're being there to help them understand that you've got their back. Once you've addressed them, then you can go to your 14-year-old and say, hey, that's not cool, and this is why it's not cool. And he may laugh it off, he may shrug it off. Some part of him knows it. I truly believe some part of him understands. He just doesn't have, the emotional wherewithal to go, hey, you know what? Yeah, I was kind of being a jerk. I'm sorry. That maybe grow in the future. How does that develop? When he has those sensitive, more warm, playful times, capitalize on those and share those as much as possible. Talk about those experiences. Share how much you really appreciate and love those experiences with him. Also, apologize. When you have the opportunity to apologize to your son, and you will, because we all, as parents, we mess up sometimes, make sure that you share a real sincere apology with no expectation back, to model for him how this is how you do an apology. Because eventually you want him to recognize, oh, I screwed up, let me go apologize. You may be the last people who hear it, but his friends, his teachers, a girlfriend, whatever that is, may eventually hear it. So that's where I think it's really important that you model. You take the high road and don't stoop to his level. Because stooping to his level, it's on his home turf. He's going to win every time. And you're just perpetuating that lifestyle. It's a big topic. I do a whole presentation on this. And so I'm trying to squeeze into just 5 minutes here. But it's not uncommon. And the way you approach this is through empathy, compassion, and some healthy boundaries as well. Anyways, that's our question for today. Love talking more about this. If you have more follow-up questions on this, or you have your own question you'd like me to answer here on Tips on Teens, email us at tipsonteens@teentherapycenter.com. My name is Kent Toussaint with Teen Therapy Center and the nonprofit Child and Teen Counseling. And I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Bye-bye.